Peter Schmeichel's journey begins with a backdrop of resilience and history, rooted in his Danish-Polish heritage. His father, Antoni Tolek Schmeichel, endured unspeakable tragedies during World War II. As a young boy, Tolek bore witness to the horrors of the war firsthand, watching helplessly as his mother was dragged away to a concentration camp. The haunting image of that day remained etched in his memory, as he never saw her again. She became yet another casualty of the war's cruelty, passing away before its end. Years later, in 1961, fate set the stage for an unexpected love story. Inger, a Danish health worker working aboard a cruise ship, stopped in Sopot, a picturesque Polish city nestled along the Baltic Sea. During her visit, she attended a local theater performance, and there she met Tolek. At the time, Tolek was a young, passionate musician, and his charm didn't go unnoticed. Their connection was instant, and what began as an innocent encounter soon blossomed into a whirlwind romance. The relationship eventually bore fruit, and among their children was none other than Peter Schmeichel. Life, however, rarely grants smooth paths. When Inger decided to return to Denmark, she wanted Tolek to come with her, hoping to build a future together. But during the height of the Cold War, crossing from Eastern to Western Europe wasn't just tricky. It was almost impossible without special permissions. After a drawn-out process, the immigration office finally allowed Tolek to leave Poland. But there was a catch. They demanded that he work as a spy for the Polish government. Driven by a longing to reunite with Inger, Tolek reluctantly accepted the proposition. Yet, upon his arrival in Denmark, he wasted no time flipping the narrative. He reported everything to the Danish authorities, revealing his role as a Polish spy. Instead of turning him away, the Danish government offered him a deal. He could stay, but only if he agreed to act as a double agent. The weight of this double life was crushing, leaving Tolek battling depression and frustration. The once jovial and kind musician grew distant, his temperament often flaring. His anger was not sparing, and he frequently unleashed it within the family, a dynamic that left its mark on young Peter. For Peter, home wasn't the refuge it should have been. Seeking peace and distraction, he spent his days outside, where he stumbled upon football. While he wasn't particularly skilled at dribbling, his coach saw potential elsewhere and nudged him toward goalkeeping. Peter, a boy obsessed with acts of heroism, found a spark in this position. Standing as the team's last line of defense suited him perfectly, and he poured himself into the role with unmatched enthusiasm. By the time he entered high school, Peter's abilities as a goalkeeper had set him apart from his peers. His towering frame, lightning-quick reflexes, and sharp instincts made him a natural for the position. People began to whisper about his potential, calling him the greatest goalkeeper their region had ever seen. It was during this time that Peter began dreaming big. He imagined himself representing the Danish national team and playing professionally for Manchester United. It was a bold dream, as most kids his age idolized European giants like Bayern Munich or Real Madrid, but Peter's heart was drawn to the Red Devils. Despite his obvious talent and dedication to football, Peter's father had other aspirations for him. Tolek, a musician at heart, hoped Peter would follow in his footsteps. From an early age, Tolek taught him to play the piano, a skill Peter excelled at. But while Peter respected his father's wishes and became proficient in music, his heart never swayed from football. Upon graduating high school, Peter took his first big step toward his dreams by signing with Hivedovre, a semi-professional football club. It didn't take long for him to shine, and his performances garnered attention. Fans and scouts alike saw him as Denmark's next great goalkeeper. Amidst his rising career, Peter also embraced fatherhood at a young age, welcoming Kasper Schmeichel in 1986. Kasper would later grow up to become a world-class goalkeeper, carrying on his father's legacy. In 1987, Peter made a significant leap by signing with Brøndby. The move proved to be a turning point in his career. Over the next 5 years, Peter led Brøndby to an impressive 4-league title. His excellence wasn't just about his physical abilities. Peter possessed an uncanny ability to read strikers. He could predict their movements and anticipate their decisions, a skill that frustrated opponents time and time again. But Peter's impact went beyond his saves. He was a natural leader, often barking out commands to his defenders. His constant yelling sometimes annoyed his teammates, but deep down, they knew his words kept them on their toes. His vocal leadership became a key ingredient in Brøndby's success. By 1988, Peter's prowess earned him the #1 spot in the Danish national team, where he replaced the senior goalkeeper. His performances on the international stage solidified his reputation as a force to be reckoned with. In 1991, after claiming yet another league title with Brøndby, Peter decided it was time to step onto a bigger stage. Meanwhile, Manchester United, struggling with a goalkeeper crisis, caught wind of a Danish prodigy dominating the pitch. Sir Alex Ferguson, the legendary manager, personally traveled to Denmark to watch Peter train. What he witnessed was nothing short of extraordinary. Peter wasn't just tall. His agility was mind-boggling, and his commanding presence on the field was magnetic. He orchestrated his defenders like a maestro leading an orchestra, and Ferguson was in awe. There was, however, one surprising detail. Peter was already 27 years old. For many, that's considered late to start an international career, but Ferguson didn't hesitate. He immediately made an offer and brought Peter to Old Trafford, the theater of dreams. What followed was nothing short of legendary. Peter Schmeichel became a cornerstone of Manchester United's success, a goalkeeper who redefined the position and inspired a generation. And the best part was that he was signed for a bargain, making him one of the greatest steals in football history. Peter Schmeichel's journey at Manchester United was nothing short of a roller coaster, filled with triumphs, challenges, and moments that cemented his legacy as one of the greatest goalkeepers in football history. Achieving his childhood dream of playing for the Red Devils came with the immense responsibility of upholding the club's once glorious reputation. In 1991, Manchester United was far from its dominant self. The club was struggling in the league, and just 2 years earlier, Sir Alex Ferguson, affectionately known as Fergie, was on the brink of being sacked due to poor performances. But Fergie's decision to bring Peter on board marked a pivotal turning point. During Peter's very first training session, he left his new teammates in awe. His commanding presence and jaw-dropping saves under the goalpost gave the squad a renewed sense of confidence. They knew they had found their rock-solid goalkeeper. Brian Kidd, Fergie's trusted assistant coach, played a crucial role in shaping Peter's style. Under Kidd's guidance, Peter developed into a fearless goalkeeper, mastering the art of rushing off his line in one-on-one situations and confidently claiming crosses. These were skills he hadn't fully honed during his time in the Danish league, but they became defining traits of his game at Manchester United. Off the pitch, Peter was fortunate to have Steve Bruce, Manchester United's senior player and vice-captain, as his neighbor. Steve's support helped Peter adjust to life in Manchester, making the transition smoother and more comfortable. Peter's debut season at United was nothing short of spectacular. He kept 4 clean sheets in his first 4 matches, including his debut, showcasing his brilliance between the posts. The British media quickly took notice, and Peter's reputation began to soar. Thanks to Brian Kidd's mentorship, Peter became a fierce and fearless goalkeeper, unafraid to face strikers head-on. His dominance was undeniable, at least until he encountered John Fashanu, Wimbledon's powerhouse center forward. Fashanu managed to break through Peter's defenses, shaking his confidence. But instead of letting it bring him down, Peter used the experience as a turning point. He became the most vocal goalkeeper the league had ever seen, using trash talk to rattle opposing strikers, including a young Eric Cantona, who was then playing for Leeds United. By the 29th fixture of the season, Peter had racked up an impressive 16 clean sheets. However, a match against Liverpool proved to be a bitter pill to swallow. Peter conceded goals, and United lost the league title to Leeds United. To make matters worse, the Danish national team failed to qualify for the UEFA Euro. But fate had other plans. A civil war in Yugoslavia led to the country's ban from the tournament, and Denmark was called up as a last-minute replacement. With just 10 days to prepare, the Danish team scrambled to get ready. Despite the odds, Peter remained optimistic, though he admitted he didn't expect his team to win. The Danish squad, led by coach Richard Møller Nielsen, headed to Sweden with a sense of duty, not just to represent Denmark, but also to honor Yugoslavia, whose place they had taken. Missing their star player, Michael Laudrup, the team faced an uphill battle. In their opening match, Denmark held England to a draw, a result that boosted their morale. However, a loss to the host nation, Sweden, in the second match dampened their spirits. but the team bounced back in their third match, defeating France to secure a spot in the semifinals. The semifinal clash against the Netherlands was a nail-biter. The match ended in a 2-2 draw, forcing a penalty shootout. Peter knew the weight of the moment rested on his shoulders, and he delivered. He made a crucial save against Marco van Basten, the only miss of the shootout, propelling Denmark to the final. Reaching the final felt like a victory in itself for Denmark, a team that had never come this far. Their opponents, Germany, were the reigning world champions and heavy favorites. But Peter's confidence never wavered. The first 20 minutes of the final were relentless, with Germany launching wave after wave of attacks. But Peter stood tall, making save after save. Then, John Jensen scored the opening goal for Denmark, shifting the momentum. In the second half, Peter pulled off a jaw-dropping save, denying a powerful header from Germany. When Denmark scored their second goal, the writing was on the wall. The underdogs had done the unthinkable. They were champions of Europe. Peter's heroics in the final cemented his status as a world-class goalkeeper. His fame skyrocketed, and upon returning to Copenhagen, he and his teammates were celebrated as national heroes. They had shown the world that even the smallest chance could lead to greatness. Back in Manchester, Peter's confidence was at an all-time high. The start of the Premier League era in 1992 brought new opportunities, as clubs began making big-money transfers. United, under Fergie's leadership, was quick to adapt. After a shaky start to the season, Fergie made a game-changing move by signing Eric Cantona from Leeds United during the winter transfer window. Eric's arrival transformed United's fortunes. The charismatic forward had a knack for stepping up in crucial moments, often single-handedly turning games around. With Eric leading the attack and Peter guarding the goal, United found their rhythm. That season, they ended a 26-year title drought, claiming the league championship and setting the stage for a new era of dominance. Peter Schmeichel's career at Manchester United was a masterclass in consistency and leadership, but it wasn't without its challenges. Under Sir Alex Ferguson, the Red Devils transformed into a dominant force, and Peter played a pivotal role in that evolution. His unwavering composure and refusal to let teammates off the hook for their mistakes became a hallmark of his leadership. Gary Neville, one of United's rising stars, experienced Peter's tough love firsthand. While being scolded by Peter wasn't exactly pleasant, it forged an iron-strong mentality in Gary and the entire squad. One of the defining moments of Peter's career came in early 1994 during a high-stakes match at Anfield, Liverpool's iconic home ground. United stormed to a 3-0 lead within the first 30 minutes, but Liverpool, despite enduring one of their worst seasons, mounted an incredible comeback to level the score at 3-3. The result left Fergie fuming, and Peter found himself in the firing line, particularly for Liverpool's third goal. The tension between Peter and Fergie boiled over into a heated confrontation, but Peter eventually owned up to his mistake and apologized in front of the team. The incident, though intense, strengthened their bond and reinforced the importance of accountability within the squad. That season, Manchester United achieved a remarkable double, clinching both the Premier League and the Carling Cup titles. From that point on, the team became untouchable, dominating the English league with Peter consistently delivering world-class performances. His saves were nothing short of spectacular, earning him recognition as one of the best goalkeepers in the world. By November 1998, however, Peter's career at United was nearing its end. A surprise press conference announced that the ongoing season would be his last with the club. The relentless schedule of matches without adequate rest had taken its toll, leaving Peter burned out. The lack of challenge in the league further contributed to his decision, as he felt his performances were beginning to suffer. Manchester United shifted their focus to the UEFA Champions League, where they faced Europe's elite teams. This was the challenge Peter craved, and he rose to the occasion with stunning saves. Against Inter Milan, he thwarted a golden opportunity for the opposition, showcasing his brilliance. In the semi-finals, Manchester United faced Juventus, another Serie A powerhouse, but Peter's heroics helped the team advance to the final. The 1998-99 season was a defining chapter for United, as they pursued the elusive treble, winning the Premier League, FA Cup, and Champions League in a single season. With 3 matches left to secure the treble, United first clinched the league title in their final fixture. They then breezed past Newcastle in the FA Cup final, leaving the Champions League final against Bayern Munich as their ultimate test. The final, held at Camp Nou, was a nerve-wracking affair. With United's captain sidelined due to card accumulation, Peter stepped up to wear the armband. Bayern dominated the early stages, scoring the opening goal and nearly doubling their lead, if not for the intervention of the goalposts. As the match progressed, United began to wrest control, culminating in a dramatic equalizer in the final 3 minutes. Peter, in a bold move, sprinted to Bayern's penalty box during a corner kick to distract the opposition. The tactic worked, and United scored, reigniting their hopes. Exhausted, Peter rushed back to his goal, praying Bayern wouldn't launch a counterattack. Then, in the dying moments, United scored the match-winning goal, completing their treble and securing Peter's legacy. Peter's final match for Manchester United was the most prestigious of his career, a fitting farewell to his time at Old Trafford. After leaving United, Peter joined Sporting Club in Lisbon, where he played for 2 years. But his heart remained in the Premier League, prompting his return to England in 2001 with Aston Villa. Later that year, he made a controversial move to Manchester City, Manchester United's fierce rival. Playing at Old Trafford against his former team, Peter was labeled a traitor by fans, but he embraced the moment, playing with joy and freedom. When his contract with City ended, Peter decided it was time to step away from football and enjoy life. He remarried after his first marriage ended in divorce, and found immense pride in his son, Kasper Schmeichel, who followed in his footsteps as a goalkeeper. Kasper's crowning achievement came when he won the Premier League with Leicester City, a moment that Peter considered his greatest joy. Today, Peter remains active in the football world as a broadcaster for CBS Sports, providing coverage of the UEFA Champions League. His legacy as one of the greatest goalkeepers of all time continues to inspire fans and players alike.